Tax season also means, unfortunately, scam season. Scams take many shapes and forms, such as phone calls, letters, and emails. Many IRS impersonators use threats to intimidate and bully people into paying a fabricated tax bill. Have you ever been on the other end of one of those calls? Well, joining us now is assistant professor at Governor State University, also known as Professor Fraud, William Cressy. Thanks for joining the show.
Great to be here.
Okay, so let's talk about it right now.
Sure.
Most of these phone scams, they involve con artists making calls claiming to be from the IRS and demanding payment on fake tax bills. Right. But you say the IRS has no reason to call you, correct?
No, this is not how the IRS operates. They're not going to call you up at home and say, you owe a tax bill. They'll mail you a tax bill if they feel you owe them money. And they're definitely not going to call and say, you owe us a lot of money and we're sending agents over to arrest you right now. Okay, the IRS, if you owe that much money that the IRS is sending agents, they're not going to call you in advance. They're just going to come and get you. Yeah. But the other thing is that sometimes makes this fraud look more legitimate is the bad guys will spoof caller ID. So when you look at your caller ID, it'll say IRS or Internal Revenue. And you'll think, well, this must be legitimate.
Because it's showing up.
Because it's showing up, but that's a scam as well.
Okay, so Professor Fraud, not a fraudulent professor, but literally the guy you need to talk to about this stuff. Who's being targeted and why are they being targeted?
Well, everyone's being targeted. This has hit everyone, but specifically they're going after a lot of senior citizens because they can be, maybe frightened, more gullible for such a thing. And we're seeing a lot in the immigrant community because one of the things they can do with the immigrant community is threaten immediate deportation.
Yeah.
So whether you're here legally or illegally, they'll say, we'll deport you unless you pay this bill right now.
Professor, what do we got right here? You're going to show me some stuff, huh? One
of the things that they often say to try and collect this tax bill you really don't owe is they'll tell you, we want you to pay via like a prepaid Visa card. Go down to the Walgreens or the CVS, put a couple of $100s on one of these cards and then call us back with the numbers. My favorite is they'll actually tell people, go out and get a iTunes card.
Now, why in the world would that be necessary?
It's not. The IRS is never going to ask for gift cards. They're never going to ask for even your credit card number or your debit card number over the phone. This is totally a scam. And yet, people are constantly falling for this. They're going to stores and buying iTunes cards and giving the numbers. So much so that major retailers like CVS and Walgreens are training their clerks that if you see someone coming in and buying a number of these at a high value, stop them.
Wow, okay.
And tell them they're probably a victim of a scam.
Furthermore, quickly, Professor, what do we do to report them if we feel like, hey, we're being targeted for a scam?
Well, I brought along a little thing here with the phone number. This is the Treasury Department Inspector General's hotline number. Okay. So if you feel that you've been a victim of one of these tax scams, give them a call at that 800-366-4484 number. And
are we getting weird? What's going on with the handcuffs?
Well, no, that's just to say, as I say, they call you up and they say, oh, we're going to come right over and arrest you in front of all your neighbors. The IRS does not operate that way.
Great stuff. Thank you so much for coming in. Professor Fraud, everybody. He's got all the information that you need.